How did I know the last time I finished a video on this subject in particular that it wouldn't be the last one that I'd ever make? Microtransactions are a big issue in AAA games, a lot of which are published by companies like EA or Ubisoft, and they're far from healthy for any game that you find them in. In fact, often to account for them, the game will manipulate its own mechanics just to make sure that that seems more appealing than it perhaps should be. Maybe the base game will lack some basic features just so that those basic features can be sold on the store. Maybe the game will be harder, so you have to buy a time saver. Whichever way it is, noticeable or not, the game will do things to make spending more money than the asking price of the game seem appealing. Now, we've spoken about the Assassin's Creed Valhalla Helix store quite a lot, and I don't really want to rehash all of my words and make a stupidly long video because, come on, let's face it, this topic isn't worth that much of your time. But the thing that I'd point out the biggest of all is that Assassin's Creed Valhalla's Helix store tries to do this, make itself seem appealing by limiting the mechanics in the base game to a degree, but fails because it doesn't make the store any more appealing. Valhalla's Helix store mostly sells a few time savers and a lot of cosmetics for your ship, for your outfits, for your weaponry, a lot of which do have juiced up stats, but it's a single player game, so it's not necessarily pay to win. But the issue with these things have always been that they have been overpriced quite significantly. Sometimes these packs would cost around £15, which is $20-ish, just shy, which is far too much money to ask for meaningless pieces of gear, and I'm 100% certain that Ubisoft knows this and just don't care, because the latest gear pack that they've released has this armor set. Now, for a moment, I would forgive you if you were confused and thought, isn't this just the Hidden Ones armor set? Because, barring a funny hat, it basically is. Yeah, Ubisoft are selling reskins for more money. This is a genuine issue that in a way has been enabled by consumers. It's not a consumer's fault, they didn't tell Ubisoft to do this, I will be honest. But if I've learned anything over the years, it's that if you give Ubisoft an inch, they won't take a mile, but they'll take a fucking light year. So whenever we're talking about this and somebody responds with the argument that if you don't like it, just don't buy it, it just doesn't work like that. And believe me, I wish it did. But surely to Christ, people can't be defending this. This is a reskin of an outfit that's in the game, being sold as a part of a gear pack that costs 15 quid. I'm certain the entire gear pack isn't full of reskins, but put it this way, it was overpriced anyway, so this being in there, and basically just being a dyed version of the Hidden Ones outfit, is a slap to the face. You as a consumer deserve better. If you think back to Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood and Revelations, you could dye your robes different colours, based on several presets that just cost an in-game currency, which is a system I'm sure people would have loved to see return in Assassin's Creed Valhalla due to the awful default of the Hidden Ones outfit, which is green, gold, and red. But they're selling a dyed version of it, which for the most part is actually the same colours, just with a little less green, as part of a gear pack on the Helix store. So the reason why the game doesn't have a simple dye system is so that they could do this. In the River Raids update, people were upset at the St. George's armor being a reskin of the Thane's armor from the base game, when there were unique armor sets being sold on the store. So for Ubisoft to then sell a reskin on the store, should that be acceptable at all? Or is it all okay because you get a funny hat with it? The old counter-argument will reign supreme, I'm sure. If you don't like it, just don't buy it. What do you think I'm going to avoid doing? But I'm also going to talk about it because it's scummy as fuck. This is a full AAA game. How is this worth more of your money? If we say nothing at all, Ubisoft is going to do this more and more often. In fact, they're probably going to anyway, so you might as well just say your piece. Even the argument that it's a separate thing that you can completely ignore is false. The entire game is designed to account for microtransactions. If you don't believe that, see Reddit's shop. Just some random 900-year-old child who shows up in your village to sell you these strange things you can buy on the Helix store much less tediously, with no acceptable plot explanation as to why he's there, he just is. There are around just as many armor sets being sold on the Helix store as you can actually find in the game itself, sticking most of the game's actual gear behind a paywall. There are time savers on the store that outright allow you to buy resources or experience boosters, which is attempted to make more appealing, as finding these resources and gaining all this XP to do stuff can at times come across as a little bit tedious. Now, I actually don't understand what the XP boost is doing there, because it's not like you can bypass all of the tedious shit in the main story anyway, and if you stick the game on easy, you don't even have to worry about the level curve because it's non-existent. But the point stands on the resources, and the game can't have basic systems like an outfit dyeing system to account for selling reskins on the fucking Helix store. Now, you look back to what they're doing with the Helix store in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and you have to ask yourself, is this really acceptable? Should we be accepting this? Is this not an insult to us as a consumer? Yeah, we can ignore it all we want, but Ubisoft will keep doing it. And the more frequent and intense it gets, the more the quality and integrity of the game itself will suffer. Someone wanted to argue a developer's perspective in the last video I did talking about this, and it was a fair point in a way, but I'm going to deconstruct it as well. Paraphrasing, this point generally stated that Ubisoft is doing this to keep the arts designers in a job of some sort, to keep them occupied, which I'd imagine for Ubisoft, a multi-billion-dollar company, this is a non-problem. They surely can afford to explore other avenues to making sure that these people are still useful and keeping them paid. I don't want to rehash my other points and prolong this video any longer than it needs to be. My previous video on this will be at the end of this video in the cards, so definitely go ahead and check that out. But as a final thing to say, if you feel like you need to say something about this, please do. Because silence is compliance with Ubisoft, and there are a million valid reasons why this company does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. But thank you for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff, that would be super fantastic. If you want to discuss this in more detail with me directly, then head over to my Twitter and send me a tweet, let's talk about it. But of course, if you don't want to do any of those things, don't worry about it. And with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video or stream at some point, hopefully about something that doesn't consist of me being critical for once. I'd love to be nice about something. Maybe I'll find a way to do that. Anyway, I'll see you all very soon with another video at some point, but until next time, take care and goodbye.